Hey, it's Nisha. I won an auction on Shop Goodwill, and we're going to go take a look at the jewelry. This comes from Pennsylvania. All right, let's take a look. Okay. All right. Ooh. Ooh, bag of goodies. Brooches are my favorite. I love brooches. Brooches, brooches. Ooh, look, pretty, pretty. Pretty, pretty, pretty. All right, so let's open this up. Ta-da! Ooh, even better view. All right, let's take a closer look. All right, so we have a ring brooch. Kind of a classic design. I haven't seen one design quite like this. Kind of nice design. All right, cool. Ooh, look at this. Reminds me of the 1990s twisted cord brooch. Oh, it's got some verdigris. Dang. Which is where this green section where the metal is starting to break down. Let's check the back. No manufacturer's mark. It's a nice design. Too bad about the damage on that one. Oh, this is pretty. So I'm just checking to see what the stones are made from. They're not cold, so they're not actual stones. I think they're plastic. Okay. But they have some sparkle to them. Nice vintage design. Oh, there is some information down here, so we'll take a closer look at that. Looks vintage. It says 1965 on there. Interesting. So if you know more about these, let me know. It's a nice design. All right. So for something like this, I would list this on Etsy, since I know around the manufacturer's date on that, eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and I would do this using a cross-listing service called List Perfectly. And they make it really easy for me to grow my business. If you want to learn more, I have a link in the description below that will give you 30% off your first month. And I also have a video that talks about List Perfectly in more detail. Nice fleur-de-lis. I really like the differences between the brushed metal and the regular metal. It's missing a couple rhinestones. Still a great design. It's from Pastelli. I'm not familiar with that. Definitely vintage. Has the pin sticking out in the bottom there. And let's take a closer look at that manufacturer's mark. If you're familiar with them, let me know in the comments. I would love to learn more. Interesting. Fun design. It does look like either that's a dead stone or it's missing a rhinestone. This is a contemporary piece. It's not vintage. I know this by the way it has this look. It looks like the silver is very shiny silver. It looks like aluminum foil is the way I can best explain it. Vintage pieces will have tarnish on them, and the silver looks a little bit different. All right. Oh, this is fun. I like the use of the rhinestones and then the use of the imitation pearls for the flowers. Okay, nice design. Modern piece, again, we have that stippling texture on the back. All right, cool. Now this one is totally missing the brooch section. I will show that to you. It's a beautiful design. Has that nice rhinestones, but if you look here, it's missing part of the clasp. Now on older brooches, it will have like a C clasp like that, but I don't think this one is designed that way. All right, no manufacturer's mark. Now, I always like to check the brooches and make sure they close. This one's stunning. I like the ribbon, the way it looks, and the use of the rhinestones. I like you have a thin ribbon and a thick ribbon. It is signed, so let's see. Oh, Monet. Monet always has such great designs. And I would have to check. It's just off the top of my head. I'm thinking it might be vintage, but I'd double check it to be sure. Oh, this is fun with the seed beads, which are the smaller beads. And then you have these other larger ones in the center. It's made in Japan. It's marked Japan right there. Okay, it's a fun vintage piece. I don't think I've ever seen one quite like this. It's kind of squiggly looking. Okay, fun. Too bad. Okay, this is like 1980s look with the gemstones and the gold tone. So gemstone colors is what I mean. So it's missing a cabochon right here. It might be a reproduction of a 1980s because of all the stippling here on the back. That usually indicates that's a later piece. But looking at the clasp, the way this is constructed right through here, this could be a 80s piece, but it's going to go in the craft lot. Fun. I like the way this one looks. I like the ring or wreath and then the floral spray on top with the marquise rhinestones, the purple rhinestone shape. And then in the flower, there's circular shape rhinestone. Definitely vintage. We got those grommets on the back, indication 1960s. All right, cool. Classic Jonette Jones or JJ design, a little mark on the front, but wonderful southwestern theme. I love the use of the coyote here in the foreground, and then you have another one in the background and a saguaro. It reminds me of my time in Arizona. All right, we'll take a look at that mark on the back. Here's the construction of the back. Definitely vintage. We can tell by the way this bar is created, and then here is the hallmark. So with Jonette Jones, there will usually be a date with them, so to help you date those. All right, cool. Okay. Fun heart design. And this is not vintage. This is a more contemporary Napier or Napier, Napier. You can tell by the manufacturer's mark. They have different types of marks depending on what time period it comes from. So we're really hitting the Jonette Jones today. This is really nice. I like the way this is constructed. I like the imagery, and then you have that great construction on the back. Great design. Oh, very classic brooch. Look at that. So that's very classic. I like the use of the imitation pearl in the center and all those lovely rhinestones around the center, around the outside. And we have a Monet. It could be a more contemporary piece, but still a lovely, lovely piece. Now, this is an interesting design. Very modern looking with the way they have the pearls on the ends here. Let's see, what is this? Oh, okay, it is a brooch. Let's connect it together. Interesting, okay. All right. Cool. I really like the way that looks. Okay, there was a hallmark on here, so let's take a closer look at that. Look at the design of that. All right, and then we have the hallmark. Let's disconnect it so we can take a closer look. Oh, Napier. All right, fun. Oh, I love this one. It does have a lot of wear on the rhinestones, but it's definitely vintage. You can tell by the construction of on the back, so we'll look at that in a second, but you can see some of the wearing on the front of the rhinestones, but perfect for Valentine's Day, right? And then on the back, see how the rhinestones are wrapped and then joined together. Definitely a cool vintage piece. Oh my goodness, several pieces together here. This one has had a better life. This has been well loved, and let's put it this way. Nice, modern looking enameling on the leaf, but it has some chipping on the enamel. And we have, Sarah Coventry. A video wouldn't be complete without Sarah Coventry. Okay, fortunately it's really worn, so we're going to put this into a craft lot. Ah, grapes. Ooh, look at the sparkle on that. All right, take a closer look. I like the enameling. I like the stone. Wow, super sparkle. Take a closer look on the back. Now let's see. Is this vintage? Is it not vintage? I'm thinking it's not vintage. Just because of the gray color on the back. You let me know, is this vintage or not vintage? All right. Definitely a keeper. Wow, look at that design. That would look great on a suit, like with a dark color, navy blue or black. And let's see, oh, we have a Trifari. Trifari, yeah. Let's see if it's a crown Trifari. Oh, yes, it's a crown Trifari. Yay! A video wouldn't be complete without one of those either. So we'll take a look. Okay, so Trifari is the manufacturer, and then crown Trifari is a specific time period in the manufacturer's history. So this one has the copyright symbol after it. So that means it's from 1955 to 1969. These are desirable, but there are crown Trifaris that don't have the copyright symbol on them. So if you look for those, and those are earlier, and those are even more desirable. So I'm always on the lookout for these. So this is fun. I'm super happy with that. Oh, wow. Just looking at this one, it almost looks like it's from the 1940s. A lot of brooches from the 1940s will have this metal work where it's bending metal around like this and around, but usually it doesn't have texture on them. So let's take a closer look. Like the imitation pearl. And we'll take a look at the back. Interesting. So this is definitely not from the 1940s. It may be like a vintage reproduction from the 1980s. 1940s stuff was really popular in the 1980s. So this could be a reproduction of that. So fun piece. A little bit of research on that. Oh, this is so cute. What a cute pin. Oh, wow. It's very teeny. Teeny tiny. But it has some beautiful enamel on it. And then these stones set in. Look at that. And then the back is not marked. It looks to be vintage. Again, more research, and let's just check. I don't think it's made from fine metal, but it is not magnetic. So that will be part of my research, is figuring all that out. Oh, okay. So this one looks vintage, but I'm pretty sure this is a newer piece. Okay, so the stone in the center feels like it's made from glass. It's cool to the touch, but not cold. I like the filigree on the outside. There's opalescence on the cabochon in the center, which you can't pick up on the camera, but I think it's supposed to have this feeling of being an opal or something like that. And then the back has this pattern. Now, some manufacturers use different patterns on the backs of their pieces. So if you recognize a pattern, you might be able to identify it. So it is vintage, but it looks like it's trying to be a Victorian reproduction piece, maybe from the 80s. Okay, abstract feather piece. I like that. And then you have the rhinestones and texture on the gold tone plating. Let's look at the back. Okay, so I think this is a more modern piece. We can check the bar to see what it looks like in the clasp to be sure. There was no manufacturer's mark. Okay, yeah, I think it's a modern piece, but it's a lovely piece, and somebody will enjoy that. Okay, fun. Aha, again, Valentine's Day. Well, you don't always have to have Valentine's Day to wear a heart, but it's pretty. I like the different shapes of the rhinestones. And let's see, let's just take a look. I didn't see any manufacturer's mark on the back. Maybe vintage. Might need a little bit more research. It's not magnetic. It could be silver plate. I'm just looking at the tarnish. All right, cool. Oh, this is a nice design. I like the plastic cabochon in the center of the piece. It's very modern looking piece. There's some tarnish on the metal, but that will clean up. And then on the back, this is another sign that it's a well-made piece, is you have this opening to allow light into the cabochon on the front. See? There is some verdigris on the bar, so I'm going to have to check on that and see if it's affected the condition of the metal. All right, that's too bad. Okay, might be able to replace the bar, but I'll have to do some research and see what I can find out about that pin. All right. Ah, everybody's a star. Oh no! Everybody's a star, but it's not a brooch. What are you? I think it's a, I don't know, pendant maybe? A magnetic pendant. All right, craft lot. Oh, this has an old price tag on it. That's a really, I would call this, even though it's just leaves, I would still call this a flower spray. I really like that enameling. The pink rhinestones are fabulous. And then look at the back. All right, are you vintage or not? I think it's a reproduction. It's still very pretty. Okay. All right, cool. All right, what do we have here? Now, you look vintage. Ring wreath brooches were really popular in the 1950s, 1960s. I like how it has a chain in the center like that. Okay, that makes me think that maybe it's not vintage. All right, let's check the back. Check that construction. Now, they can emulate that construction. That makes me feel suspicious that it's a reproduction, which is fine. Okay, yeah, I'm looking at this clasp. I think it's a reproduction. Okay, still a very pretty piece. Let me know what you think. We're going to the moon, and the moon is missing something. What is the moon missing? Oh, it might have been that other star I had. Okay. Are you? Oh, I see. Okay, I'll have to see if it's an easy fix or not. It's very cute, though. Very cute. I see. Okay. Kind of goes like that. All right, so I'll take a look at that and see if it's fixable. It's not marked in the back. All right. Like a fan shape. I like the design on here. Courting couple. So you find all sorts of courting couple designs. And then the back is signed ALVA. I'm not familiar with that brand at all. If you know about them, let me know. Fun. Interesting. Okay, so I think it's a vintage style piece with the turtle. That's fun. And it's using repoussé, meaning they're hammering the metal into another heavier, denser metal to create the pattern on these sheets of metal, and then it's glued onto the back. All right, cool. We found a piece for the 1980s brooch. All right, now we have a group of flowers. I like the design. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like this before. Okay, so this is a Liz Claiborne design. You see the LC, the L is larger than the C. That's Liz Claiborne. So now you know. All right, fun. All right, and a nice spray design for the flowers. And we'll take a closer look. Looks like plastic capuchons. Yep. And then we have a manufacturer's mark. Okay, so now this is Trifari, but this is later after, I bet this is after Avon bought them, which was, I'm not sure, I think it was in the 90s. So the designs and the materials that they were using changed a lot. So you can tell I'm not quite excited about this piece as I was about the Crown Trifari. So it's still a lovely piece, but okay, we're down to the last couple of them. All right, so we have a pretty bow, rhinestone. It might be one where it was a birthstone type of pin. Just looking at it, looks vintage to me. It has a texture on the ribbon. I don't see a manufacturer. It's a nice design. Okay, so this is enameling with rhinestones. This is a piece made within the last 20 years. It has that stippling or texture like this on the back. And again, it has that bright, shiny silver color or silver tone color. It looks like aluminum foil. So another key in that this is a more contemporary piece. All right, so I like this big plastic. Well, actually, I think it's glass stone in the center, framed with leaf shapes with rhinestones in the center. Look at that. Really nice design. And then on the back, we see the manufacturer. So we have Sarah Coventry, and this looks like a vintage piece. Not familiar with when this would have been made, though. I'm guessing 1970s, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay, fun. So this is a Masonic star. And each one of the points means different things, and I don't remember what they are. But this is an older piece. You can see the open filigree of the pin. And I'm not quite sure the date, but let's look at the back. It might help us date it. So we have a C clasp. Okay. And then there's some writing right here, so we'll take a closer look at that. So it says CRP. I don't know if that's the manufacturer or what. But yeah, this is old. It's very interesting. I've never seen anything quite like this. Now, sometimes older pieces can be made from fine materials, so I will check on that and make sure it's check. All right, so this is our last piece for today. Very pretty. I like the dangle section. I would also call this tremble, so meaning that when you're walking or something wearing a piece like this, it trembles and moves. It has this cameo in the center. It's not a Victorian cameo, but this is, I'm assuming it's from the 80s, so let's take a look at the back. You know, I'm not quite sure the date. It does have a feeling of the 60s because of this clasp, but some of this looks like 70s. So this chain right here looks like 1970s. So maybe that was added later or something. Yeah, it's possible. You can find pieces, especially older pieces, where people add and take things away. And sometimes they'll replace the clasp. So I have to say, I was very happy with this auction and all of the pieces I got in it. And thanks for sharing this look with me. Thanks so much for watching. If you'd like to learn more about List Perfectly, check out this video. If you enjoyed this video, then give us a like and then hit that subscribe button if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.